Good morning, everybody. It's me, Mr. Heesom. I'm hiding behind the camera this morning because I'm going to show you lots of things that I'm going to put down on the table today because we are doing a maths lesson and we're starting a brand new topic where we're going to be looking at multiplication. Can you say that? Multiplication. And multiplication is when we see the symbol that looks a little bit like that. It's like a cross, it's like an X, okay? So multiplication is where we are thinking about how many groups of numbers we've got, or how many lots we've got a number, or how many times we've got a number. It's a little bit like addition. But what we call it instead is repeated addition, because we're adding a group of a number, the same number, lots of times over. Okay, so that's why we use the word times and multiplication when we're talking about this. And I always think about the word multiplication calculation when I'm remembering how to do what to do with multiplication, as it makes me laugh a little bit, as they sound quite similar. So, for us to be really good mathematicians this week, what we need to do first of all, before we start even doing our multiplication calculations, is we need to really practice counting in our 2s, our 5s, and our 10s, okay? They are going to be the ones that we start looking at in year 2, so we always start with 2s, 5s, and 10s, before we progress on to doing our 3s as well. But we need to make sure that we can count in our 2s, 5s and 10s before we even start anything else. So that is what we're going to have a little practice of doing today. Okay, so first of all then, I'm going to start with, I think I might start with this number here. I'm going to show you. What number's this then? I've got my Numicon piece just here. What number is it? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got 10 there. Okay, so I've got one group of 10. So I'm going to put my one group of 10 down there. I've got one group of 10, two groups of 10, three groups of 10, and four groups of 10. Now, how can I count all of those 10s up together to see how many I've got? Well, what I could do is I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, I would be counting for an awfully long time. What could I do instead? What could I do? Any ideas? I could count in my 10s, couldn't I? So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I could make it much, much quicker by counting in my 10s. Now, if you don't know your 10s, the 10s are quite straightforward to get. I think you'll get them really, really quickly. That's why I'd always suggest starting with counting your 10s and making sure you can count in them first. So I'm going to write on the table. Don't tell Miss Allen, though. So, first number I've got then, I know I've got a 10 there because straight away Miss Heesom said I've got a group of 10. So I don't even need to count those ones. I can just say straight away 10. Then I'm going to go into my next one. So I've got 10. Then I count to 20, 30, 40. Okay, so I've got 10, 20, 30, 40. Can you see how the numbers are changing each time when I'm adding a 10? Because that's what I'm doing when I'm doing multiplication. I'm adding the same amount, adding an amount of the same number. What's happening to my ones column each time? I'm going to put 10s and 1s above each one so you can see. What's happening to my ones column each time? Can you see? Is it changing? It's not changing at all. What do you notice with that pattern there? I'm not going to tell you because that's what a job that I want you to have a go at doing today. But I bet you can see a pattern. What's happening to my ones column? To my tens column each time? How's my tens column changing each time I add an extra 10? Can you guess what the next number might be in my sequence? If I was to add another 10, so now I've got 5 groups of 10s instead, what would my next number be? Have a little look at the pattern. I could say straight away that I think it's going to end in a 0. There's going to be 0 1s in my 10s, okay? What do you think the next 10s number would be? I think it would be this one, just here. So maybe then you could have a go today at telling me what the pattern is that you see when you're counting in your 10s. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe that off the table because I'm going to go on to my next number then. So if you are at home today, what I'll probably have a good go at doing is seeing if you can find 10 groups of objects, okay? So you might find 10, I don't know, you might find 10 stickers, you might find 10 cars, and you can practice using those concrete resources to help you count in your 10s, okay? Right, I'm going to have a go at this number now then. Okay, I've got my another Numicon piece. What number is this then here? How many have I got in this one? I've got 1, 2, just 2 there. So I'm going to put my 2 there. So I'm going to have a go this time then at counting in my 2s. And 2s are quite straightforward as well. I think you'll pick the pattern up really quickly if you don't know it yet. So I'm going to put 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2, 4 groups of 2. And I think I can find another one in my little set of Numicon. And I've got 5 groups of 2 there. Let's see. Can we count in our 2s then to find out what 5 groups of 2 is? Let's see. 2. Now what I could do here, if I'm not too sure of my counting in 2s, I could go 3, 4 and find 4. The more you practice, the quicker you'll be able to reel them off really, really quickly without having to count each one. So I know that it would be 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. It's like I'm missing a number every time, isn't it? Because I've got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each number in my 2 times table, when I'm counting my 2s, is what type of number? Maybe you'll be able to tell me that because that's another job that I want you to have a go at doing today. So if I wanted to find out what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 2 is, well, I know that 5 groups of 2 is the same as 10. 5 groups of 2 is 10. Easy peasy. What would 6 groups of 2 be, I wonder? If I were to add another group of 2 to it, what would it be next in my pattern? You might even be able to tell what number it might be. It would be the number 12. Okay, so 6 groups of 2 would be 12. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, so have a good go at practicing counting your 2s as well. Then the last number I'm going to have a little look at before I show you the next thing is we're going to have a look at our 5s. Now, if you find that you are okay with your 2s and your 5s and your 10s, and you can count forwards and backwards with them as well, backwards is the hardest bit, I struggle with that bit sometimes, then you could go on to counting in your groups of 3, okay? But these are the numbers that we want to start with to make sure that we're really proficient, which means we're really quick and we're really knowledgeable at counting in them really, really quickly. Oh my goodness me, look at all of these 5s here. Let's see how many groups of 5 we've got here then. Just move the camera a little bit. Oops, I think my camera's starting to fall over. Okay, how many groups of 5 have I got? I've got 1 group of 5, 2 groups of 5, 3 groups of 5, 4 groups of 5, 5 groups of 5, and 6 groups of 5. Let's see if we can count in 5s together. Are you ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Can you see a pattern here, I wonder, when we're counting our 5s? I'll put our 10s and our 1s over again. Are all these numbers odd, or are they all even? Or are they, in fact, a mixture? What do numbers in our 5 times table end with? Can you see from this? There's 2 digits that they could end in the 1s column. Can you see what that might be? And can you guess what the next number might be in my sequence? That's your little job for today. See if you can carry on counting in your 2s, 5s and 10s for me. Okay, now I'm going to move my camera over slightly because I'm going to show you what your next job is for today. Okay, I'm just going to move just one of those a little bit. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do today then, to help us count in our 2s, 5s and 10s, I've uploaded some pictures of some groups of objects. Because remember, when we're doing multiplication, it's all about looking at groups of something, or groups of a number, groups of an amount, groups of felt tip pens in this case. Okay, so when I'm counting these felt tip pens here, I want to see how many I've got all together. That's another word that I really like, all together. Now, I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But that takes quite a long time, and I could find a quicker way of doing this. Now, Mr. Heesom has put these into groups of 2 just to make it a little bit quicker, but that might not always be the case. So I'm going to use my trusty whiteboard pen again, and I'm going to put these felt tip pens into groups of 2. So I'm going to go, going to go 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2, 4 groups of 2, 5 groups of 2. So there I've got 5 groups of 2. Now, to find out what 5 groups of 2 is, I think we've done that before actually. 5 groups of 2, let's count in our 2s, okay? Now, to help you, if you aren't too sure yet, you can always use the 100 square. I put 100 square in your pack today, so what you could do, before you even go on to this activity, is you could practice highlighting or colouring in the numbers in each times table so that you know exactly where they are, and you can look back at them if you want a little bit of a hand at counting with them, okay? So, you could use 2 fingers to count these if you wanted to. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So 2 groups of 2 equals 10. Okay. What about here then? Now this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to count all of these beads, okay? And actually, I think I might put them into groups of 10 this time. How could I put them into groups of 10? Could I go this way? I could do. Oh, I know. Let's see how many goes this way across horizontally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Aha. Well, that's one group of 10 just there. So I've got one group of 10. And then I know that if I've got the same on the bottom, if I've got the 10 on the bottom, I know I've got the same on the top. So I'm going to count like this. 2 groups of 10. Okay, so I've got 2 groups of 10 with my beads, okay? 2 groups of 10. Can we count in our 10s, I wonder? Let's see. I'm going to get my fingers ready. I've got 10, 20. So 2 groups of 10. Let's see, I hope you can see this when I'm writing it here. 2 groups of 10 equals 20. Now I'm going to move my camera forward a little bit more so I can show you my next ones. Now these ones, I'd like you to put them into groups of 5. Now I could move them if I wanted to. If you're at home, you might want to go and get some objects from outside. You might want to get some, I don't know, you could get some twigs, you could get some stones, you could get some leaves. I don't mind, it's up to you. This is just what I could find in school. If you wanted to, you could put them into groups of 5 and separate them a little bit better like that. However, on the activity that I've given you, it's more of a pictorial representation. So that's the one where it's a little bit more tricky because you can't move it and you can't see as much. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One group of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 groups of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 groups of 5. So I know there then I've got 3 groups of 5. What does 3 groups of 5 equal? Let's see, can we count in our 5s? Get 5 fingers together. 5, 10, 15. So 3 groups of 5 equals 15. So I'd like you guys to have a go at doing that activity on the sheet, and you could also have a go at making some of your own of these, okay? Now, the final job for today then is this. Now, this is a real tricky challenge. I'm going to put that just there so I can write it on the table. It's a real tricky challenge because you're going to have some true and false sort of calculations that I'd like you to have a go at working out. So I'm going to use ones that I've just had here. So you might have something that say 3 groups of 5, and it might say, let's have a look, 2 groups of 10. Now, between those two, oh sorry, you can't see it very well there, can you? There we go. Okay, between those ones, you might have a greater than or a less than sign. Now remember, for it to be correct, I always think the crocodile is facing the greatest number. It's a greedy crocodile. It always wants to eat the biggest number. So your job is to find out whether this would be true or would it be false. Now, you could have a go, again, making your own examples or doing your own drawings, finding out if this is true or false. So you need to work out what 3 groups of 5 is, and you need to work out what 2 groups of 10 is, and you need to see which is the greatest one. And remember, the crocodile will always face the greatest number in that one, okay? So there's a few of those little jobs for you to do today. So I hope that all makes sense, guys. Lots of practical things that I want you to be doing today. Get all the things that you can find in your house, well, not all of them, but some of them, and see if you can have a go at making your own examples of these and practice counting your 2s, 5s and 10s. And when you've done all of that, you've done all of these activities, then you could have a go at counting in your 3s. But that is a tricky job, and we normally come back to that a little bit later on in the year. So don't worry if you can't get that today. That is absolutely fine. I want you to make sure you can just do your 2s, 5s and 10s to start with, okay? Then tomorrow, we're going to have a little look at how we go from counting in our 2s, 5s and 10s into making repeated addition calculations, which I'll go into a little bit more tomorrow, and we'll look at doing multiplication calculations. So that's where we're going to be looking at putting all of those groups of numbers together and finding out how much we've got in a much quicker way. Okay, so I hope you get on all right with that, guys, and send some things onto Portfolio for us. See you later. Bye.